What a change, after it is shown that the Trump administration, or Trump himself, did not intend for XRP, ADA, and SOL to be included in the strategic reserve. 12 hours can cause ADA, Solana, and XRP to plummet. We are now dealing with a perplexing process. You know, I have some news that may make many of you angry, and I'm aware that I was shaking uncontrollably when I woke up this morning. I actually started shouting into my phone, which is not like me, as I'm normally a cheerful person. However, you might feel a little frustrated simply knowing that it exists when you see what I'm about to show you. Since I know the most about XRP here, I have some ideas about where we can go with it generally. Therefore, even if the United States lacks the funds to purchase those assets, I do believe that XRP and Ripple have a future. But now we're going. Thus, yesterday, David Sachs posted this tweet. He is the czar of crypto. Let's just read it, please. President Trump issued an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve only moments ago. The federal government's Bitcoin that was seized as part of a criminal or civil forfeiture process will be used to capitalization the reserve. This implies that taxpayers won't bear any financial burden. You typically don't have any funding or spending to accompany executive orders that the president signs without first going through Congress. Generally speaking, I'm not sure whether there's a unique method or path you can take to avoid that. However, you normally need to include Congress if you want to spend money from the U.S. government. It does mention their Bitcoin holdings in passing. It is somewhat less than 200,000, roughly 198,000. Additionally, they likened it to Fort Knox, despite the fact that as recently as 3 weeks ago, the Trump administration was, making jokes about Fort Knox perhaps not having the gold. Thus, I'm not sure if I would have made a comparison if you were making jokes about it, the Bitcoin reserve towards Fort Knox, but it's all right. U.S. taxpayers have already lost $17 billion as a result of early Bitcoin sales. The Secretaries of Commerce and Treasury are empowered to create neutral, cost-effective plans for obtaining more Bitcoin. I'll show you what's in the U.S. digital assets stockpile in a moment. The U.S. executive order also creates this stockpile. No new assets will be added to the government stockpile. If you look at what the U.S. government owns, I believe this is the line that shocks people the most. Tell me when you see an American corporation here. Put up your hand. Engage via me. Bitcoin? Ethereum? No. No Wrap Bitcoin? No. BNB? Wrap BNB? No. No. ETH? No. Tron? Then does anyone actually still purchase Sandbox? And how is Sandbox used by the U.S. government? Was Sandbox used to finance illegal activity or the purchase of drugs? Correct. Recall that the U.S. government obtained these cryptocurrencies through forfeiture, the Silk Road, and other means. That just struck me as amusing. However, you are correct. My executive order on digital assets instructed the Presidential Working Group to proceed with a crypto strategic reserve that contains XRP, Solana, and ADA in order to raise this vital industry following years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration. You've heard that David Sachs isn't exactly pleased, don't you? 5 days later, the president had to retract his own statements. You go now. The American people are simply entering what the U.S. government is keeping. Returning to President Trump's remarks from the weekend, he discussed Ripple, Solana, and other alternative currencies that people own. Pondering whether or not they will be included to this cache, are they going to? Are they owned by the United States? Why did the president bring them up? The top 5 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization were mentioned by the president. Therefore, I believe that people are exaggerating this a bit. He just listed the top 5 things that we will truly have. We must conduct the bookkeeping once more. As of right now, we don't know if any of these alternative cryptocurrencies are owned by the federal government. We are aware that it has Bitcoin, it has some Ethereum, I think. About the others, I don't know. This is the reason we must complete the accounting. To tell the truth, nobody has yet been able to provide us with a clear explanation of what the federal government possesses. This is a component of it. Just to put it fast, the American crypto czar has no idea how much cryptocurrency the U.S. truly possesses, where it is, or how to get it. All right, what is the duration of this man's employment? What is the only job this guy has? Yes, it is. It is both AI and cryptocurrency. I suppose he has been more interested in AI than cryptocurrency. All right, great. The issue, though, is that we haven't actually seen a digital assets catastrophe before, which is why we haven't been able to build up a significant amount of value. I will no longer listen to this individual since it is evident that if you are going to lie in front of us, you should remove the tweet that essentially states that you have lied. This tweet demonstrates that you simply lied. Why are we here? Well, you have this too. His last name is Scott Bassett, or Bassett, depending on how you say it. It's my understanding that the Treasury's chief executive will inform you that they do not yet have a plan for how all of this will be handled. Normally, well, I'll tell you my thoughts after I play it. All okay, the reserve is Bitcoin. It's said that people are disappointed that taxpayer money won't be used to purchase Bitcoin altogether. However, we would if we could do it without generating any revenue. First and foremost, you supported the reserve, right? Second, is there a way to purchase Bitcoin instead of merely obtaining it through, I'm not sure, but we already have $17 billion worth? So, Joe, I strongly believe that the U.S. should lead the world in cryptocurrency. They employ our best procedures and regulations, and I believe we must bring it ashore. I believe that you have to stop selling Bitcoin before you can accumulate it. What we currently possess is derived from a pool of seized assets. Additionally, I wasn't present when it occurred. However, I think that roughly $500 million worth of Bitcoin was taken. It sold half of it, and thanks to gratitude, we currently have over 10 billion, and 12 billion. Therefore, stopping the sale should be the first step. Thus, we will pursue. The victims receive compensation. In order to compensate victims of various frauds and circumstances, the Biden administration sold Bitcoin. Scott, who oversees the Treasury Department, is clueless about the location of America's cryptocurrency hoard. Listen to him finish here. He has no idea who it is. He'll make a comment about it. We need to put an end to this, you know. It's like someone in the Treasury Department is selling and he has no idea who is there. Like someone in the basement is pressing the sell button. It's a little crazy. Any assets that are seized will be placed in this reserve, and we will then determine the best course of action for additional acquisitions for the reserves. It's a general crypto reserve, but we're starting with Bitcoin. However, what are your thoughts on purchasing? What should taxpayers do? Considering that we don't now have the money to make these investments, we will be effectively levering ourselves to some extent. Therefore, ceasing to sell is the first step. After that, we will proceed to establish a plan. Therefore, the first step is to cease sales. They don't have a plan, therefore we're going to implement one from there. They do not have a plan. Let's be clear about that. We're doing things a little backwards, in my opinion. Typically, the plan is presented first, followed by the executive order being signed or by Congress being involved in seeing your strategy. Some of the greatest minds in this nation remake it, don't they? Because they reflect the best aspects of our states and communities, these individuals are chosen by the electorate. Going around them, I believe, is why you don't have a plan, correct? Hopefully, the Trump administration will improve its current lack of a plan. Founders are now responding to this. Charles Hodgson isn't happy based on his body language here, correct? He's not thrilled. He's not content. He's not grinning. Today is the crypto summit, correct? Why does he not feel happy? Charles Hutchinson, the founder, asserts that we must never lose sight of the fact that cryptocurrencies were created in order to eliminate the necessity for governments. We are able to rise beyond them. That's why we're here, my friends. And that's exactly what we're doing. We must never lose sight of the fact that cryptocurrencies were created in order to eliminate the necessity for governments. We are able to rise beyond them. That, my friends, is our true purpose and the reason we are here. Although policy aids in our journey, we must eventually make a choice. What do we hold to be true? Do we want to change, or do we enjoy things as they are? We must always remember why.